Aquinas, the dumb ox, warrior of chastity, advocate of the Inquisition, and intellectual powerhouse. Aquinas' family was fairly well off, and they sent him to the Benedictine monks for his early education. When he later expressed a desire to join the new, less well-known, poorer order of St. Dominic, the Dominicans, his family protested. They supposedly even went as far as locking him in a tower and challenging his chastity by tempting him with a prostitute. As the story goes, Aquinas brandished a hot poker and chased the unfortunate woman away. G. K. Chesterton's biography of Aquinas contains an especially vibrant account of this story. It is widely accepted that Aquinas maintained his vows of chastity and poverty throughout his entire life. According to Joseph Pieper, because of Aquinas' vow of poverty, he traveled throughout Europe on foot and had scarce access to resources, including paper, so he wrote the Summa Contra Gentiles, a multi-volume work on scraps. Aquinas' association with the Dominicans was mixed, though, as Pieper explains. Members of the order initiated the Inquisition, which, even then, included the burning to death of heretics, those whose beliefs were not in accord with accepted Christianity. Thomas himself, in writing, did not disavow the killing of heretics. He thought they should be put to death. But elements of his own thinking express the truth that faith cannot be forced on someone. So he's somewhat contradictory on this issue, but that's no excuse. And also, the fact that in his time, heresy was viewed much differently than it is now, that's also not really an excuse, but it's something to take note of. And I mention this because it's important to know the good, the bad, and the ugly about all these thinkers that we're reading and studying. As a child, Aquinas was called the dumb ox, in part because of his stature. And though history has never forgotten that unfortunate nickname, Aquinas is mainly now remembered as one of the greatest minds of the Western intellectual tradition, and possibly the single most influential author on Catholic teaching. And so it's an interesting question to consider. Should his philosophy and his great work in theology be dismissed because of his support of the Inquisition? Or do we need to acknowledge that and also still consider his work? Most scholars would agree with the latter. That's the general consensus. And there are problems in the lives of other thinkers as well, but because of the great philosophy that they did, we've accepted them. We've accepted their work anyway and studied it, acknowledging that there were things they did in their lives that were somewhat reprehensible, or in some cases very reprehensible.